there cracks appearing in the northeast? Eddie Howe has got a huge amount of credit in the bank. Of course he has. But Saturday's defeat to Brentford has left them 12th in the league. In fact, they've just got one draw in their last 5 games in all competitions. Eddie Howe explained what the problem is currently at the club after the defeat on Saturday.
I think it's a variety of factors. I think we've lost a little bit of confidence for sure with the run that we've been on. I think the players have been really trying to execute what we're asking them to do, but I think you can see there's a bit of fatigue in the performance. I think we've been unlucky in a few games. Injuries have taken their toll on the ability to rotate. That's been difficult, especially in defensive areas. So I think you put all that together, that's been a difficult period for us. But I think there's only one solution, and that's for us all to step up and give more. And that's what we're asking the players to do. We've got a busy schedule. There's no end to that, so we've got to tackle it head on.
Yeah, and he's been self-critical as well, Coist. He says, I've got to get better. I take full responsibility, and I have to work out solutions. But I'm wondering, is it his responsibility? Because I look at the business that they've done during the summer. Voldemort is £69 million, no league goals since December. Wissa, £55 million, 1 league goal for Newcastle. Elanga, £55 million, no league goals. Jacob Ramsey, £40 million, no league goals. Does Eddie carry the can for this, or is there somebody else that the finger of blame should be pointed at?
Well, it all depends who's made the signings. The bottom line is the buck stops at the manager, head coach. That's what will happen, Jeff. And that's what's always happened, and that's what's continued to happen. Although I do take your point, if you're heading in the direction of, is there a director of football making the signings, then he has to be culpable as well. Of course he does. I don't think there's any getting away from that. But the manager, that's why I'm of the opinion that the manager must have a large say in the players coming into the football club. Now, that if he has done that, there's been question marks against him, particularly Elanga, I think. Voldemort has started, he scored a few goals. I think he'll continue to score a few goals. Visa, I think, will get better. Obviously, was out for a good period there before he got back in with the injury. He's probably taking a little bit longer to get going than Eddie and Newcastle would have hoped. So there are question marks. We've said it all along, Jeff. Recruitment is arguably the most important thing for any coach or any team at this moment in time nowadays. And Newcastle's recruitment at this moment in time, you'd have to say there's question marks against.
Yeah.
That said, moving on, I'm watching them. Tremendous performance, second half performance in Paris against PSG. They've obviously won a trophy under Eddie recently. I'm in the Eddie camp, by the way. I don't mind telling you, I'm holding my hands up. Yes, and so there should be question marks raised about some of the results and some of the performances. But at the same time, I think there's far more positives still around Newcastle than there are negatives.
Yeah, I mean, I understood it, but I was still disappointed that they were booed off after the game against Brentford. I mean, and you do just wonder as well, it's worth bearing in mind that during the course of the summer they had all the stuff going on with Alexander Isak, which clearly unsettled things there and probably certainly made them move in the transfer market later than they would have wished.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Sandro Tonali. talkSPORT understands he's keen on a return to Italy. And also he's been linked with, Manchester United and Arsenal, Man City. I'd be disappointed in Tonali, to be brutally honest, Coisty, because Newcastle were very loyal to him.
Yes.
When he couldn't kick the ball for them because of his gambling ban.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I've been a little bit disappointed as well, to be quite honest with you. I think their middle three, when it's fitting well, is as good as anything. Gamaris, Joe Linton and Tonali. I really do. I think if you can get the three of them on the pitch, it's probably as good as anything in the league. I really believe that, Jeff. I think it's terrific. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not there at the start of next season. And I think you're right. I think the loyalty was commendable that Newcastle showed him through that period. And sometimes you just want to be back in return, don't you? But sometimes you don't get it.
Don't forget you can hear all 10 Premier League games, including Newcastle. Big game for them now, away at Tottenham. Big game for both of those sides.
What a game that is.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's tomorrow evening on talkSPORT 2, kick off at 7:30. You'll hear all 10 Premier League games live and exclusive on talkSPORT this midweek.